Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to episode number 25 of this educational video series. I'm your host Vijay and I'm a CPA. During last video, we discussed the formation and taxation of a sole proprietorship. During this video, wanted to go over the formation and taxation of another one of the most common small business entity structures, which is an LLC. So let's get started. Now LLCs require a little more paperwork compared to the sole proprietorship. If you remember from last video, sole proprietorship generally does not require any paperwork other than maybe a requirement to file a DBA. But in case of LLC, it's a little bit more paperwork compared to the sole proprietorship. Formation of LLC is usually governed by the states that you're located in, that state's laws. But generally speaking, in order to form an LLC, you need to do a few things. First, you need to choose a name. This name has to be unique, meaning no one else in the state that you're trying to form an LLC should not have used that name. So it has to be a unique name. Second step is you have to file articles of organization. Simple couple pages that you have to file with the Secretary of State, with the state you're trying to form an LLC in. Third step, which is not required but it's recommended, especially if you are more than one owner of the LLC, to create an operating agreement. This operating agreement usually dictates how the profit and loss are divided among the owners, and if how the decisions are made, and if there's conflict, how those conflicts will be resolved. So usually if it's only one person who owns the LLC, it's not required, but if multiple owners, then it's recommended that you have an operating agreement. Comes in handy in future concerning operating the LLC. The fourth step is to obtain necessary license or permits. This depends on the nature of the business that you're in. You may be required to obtain a license in the state that you try to operate your business in, but it's not always the case. So do a little research in the state and see if you're required to obtain a license, and if so, obtain a necessary license. And fifth and final step is just start doing your business. So that's just the basic few steps that you have to follow. Now different states have different requirements, but usually they're along the same lines. Now as far as the taxation of an LLC is concerned, as per the IRS, LLC is not a separate tax entity from its owner. So LLC does not pay any federal income tax. Rather, the owner of the LLC reports the income or loss from the LLC on his or her personal tax return. Now, if you recall from the sole proprietorship video we did last time around, sole proprietor usually is responsible for two separate taxes. One is the income tax, and the second one is the self-employment tax. Same is true in case of LLC. The LLC owner is responsible for two types of taxes. One is the income tax, and the second one is the self-employment tax. Now, of course, this income tax and self-employment tax is directly dependent upon the owner's share of the LLC's income and loss. Now let's take a look at the income tax first. LLCs usually file the partnership tax return form 1065 to report the income and expense, report the income and loss generated during a tax year. And as part of this form 1065, there's Schedule K1. That Schedule K1 reports each LLC member's owner's share of the income or loss. So if an LLC has, for example, two owners, then once the form 1065 is filed by the LLC, there'll be two separate K1s for each owner, and this K1 will list that particular owner's income or loss share from the LLC. Now each owner then incorporates the income or loss reported on the Schedule K1 on his or her personal tax return. Now, if an LLC is owned by only one person, it's considered a disregarded entity, and in that case, LLC does not have to file a separate tax return. Rather, the owner just simply report the LLC's income or loss on Schedule C of his or her tax return. So that in that case, one single member LLC does not have to file a separate tax return. Just report the income or loss on owner's 1040 Schedule C of 1040 tax return. Now, as far as the state taxation is concerned for an LLC, different states have different requirement. Some states do have an alternative tax structure whereby they do tax the income from the LLC. For example, in my home state of Illinois, there is a replacement tax, and that is a 1.5% tax on any income that's generated by LLC. This tax is paid by the LLC, and it's in addition to the income tax and self-employment tax that the owners will be paying on their tax return. So that's something to keep in mind. Different states have different requirements. Your states may have different requirements. So I'll highly recommend that you consult with the tax professional who can help you out with that. And the second part of the taxation from an LLC is the self-employment tax. Same as the sole proprietorship, on top of the regular income taxes that the LLC owners are liable to pay for his or her share of the LLC income, they're also liable to pay the self-employment taxes on his or her share of the LLC income. This self-employment tax consists of the Social Security and Medicare taxes. Both of these taxes combined equal about 15.3% additional tax on top of the regular income tax. So again, same as the sole proprietorship, if the LLC is in profit, then on top of paying the regular income tax, the owner is also liable for additional 15.3% self-employment taxes. So as you can see, it gets pretty costly. Now there is a way to limit some of the self-employment taxes, but in order to do that, you'll have to incorporate your business, and that's something we'll cover in the next video. So for now, I hope the basic overview about formation and taxation of LLCs made sense. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have about this or any other accounting or tax related issues for your small business. Last thing before I sign off, if you like this video, if you find the value in the videos that I create, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends and colleagues, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That's it for this time, everyone. I'll catch you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.